Hey, it's Josh Schoenly with eXp Realty and Nexa Mortgage. And in this video, we're going to be talking about the top prospecting methods for real estate agents and realtors in 2023. This will be a more of an overview video of, in my opinion and experience, what are those top three methods. I will refer to some resources and some different things. And there'll be an opportunity to do a deeper dive for those who are interested with something we're calling predictive prospecting. And I'll get into more information about that. But again, what we're going to cover here is the top three prospecting methods for 2023 for real estate agents. And the reason for this video and why we've put together some additional resources that we'll be sharing next week is because I was asked by a number of folks this very question. In particular, the one that became the tipping point for me was I got a text message last week from a real estate broker in Florida asking me this very question. What are your top three prospecting methods for 2023? So I'm going to give an overview of those methods. And for those who are interested in doing a deeper dive, we're going to be doing an hour or so long free masterclass next week. And also a 3-week live boot camp. And if you're interested in that, it's scrolling across the bottom here. You can sign up for the early bird list at growwithjosh.com/early. Without further ado, though, let's get into these three top methods. So, number one. Now, by the way, actually, before we get into these, please understand that none of these are overly revolutionary. There's nothing in here is going to be earth-shattering, mind-blowing. But what I think you'll find is that as we come into a very different market than we entered at the beginning of 2022, it's important to go back to the basics and back to the fundamentals. Okay. So, number one prospecting method for 2023 is prospecting your existing database. Prospecting your existing database. And I'm going to give you a number of different ways that you can and should be doing that very thing. Before I share those, though, I hope that if you're watching this video, you have your database organized and set up in a way that you can predictively prospect that database. And if nothing else, that is and should be priority number one for you. So what makes up your existing database, your current database? Well, it's your sphere of influence. It's your past clients and any leads that you have either generated yourself or been given or I don't know, farmed or data mined, whatever that may be, whatever existing database or leads that you've ever generated, that makes up your current database. And once again, if you don't have that in an organized fashion, if you don't have that in a spreadsheet, in a CRM, and set up in a way that you can prospect it, that is absolutely job one from this video. That is your top priority. And if you need help with that, you should either comment below or better yet, email mike@growwithjosh.com. mike@growwithjosh.com. So that's priority number one. Now, how do you actually prospect your existing database? What can you do to predictively prospect it and to proactively prospect that database? Well, let me give you at least 4 things that you should be doing. Number one is sending out a weekly email to everyone in your existing database. This is something that I trained on a number of times towards the end of 2022. If you want a copy of that training, just email mike@growwithjosh.com, mike@growwithjosh.com. We send out our weekly email every Friday morning, and it is crafted and designed in such a way that, number one, it is entertaining, valuable, informative to anyone receiving it, and also is crafted in such a way that folks are, it is a catalyst. Okay, that's the word I like to use for it. It is a catalyst that creates opportunities for you to follow up and follow through with people in the database who are more likely to be buying or selling soon, this year sometime, maybe this quarter. And so that's number one, how to proactively and predictively prospect your existing database is sending a weekly email newsletter. Number two, everyone in your database should either be getting regular property alerts and or market updates. Everyone should be getting one or the other. Whether you set that up in your MLS, whether you set that up in KV Core, whether you set that up in whatever system you've got access to or that you're using. Okay. They should be getting either search alerts for properties in their neighborhood or in the area that they're looking for, or based upon the criteria they're looking for, or market updates. Number three, actually, I'm going to give you at least 5 ways to be prospecting your existing database. Number 3 is every existing homeowner in your database should be getting a seller nurture, some sort of seller nurture update from you. Okay. For 2022, I used the platform HomeBot for more than 2022. We just recently switched in my business to using Home IQ. And in fact, we're now partnering with agents. One of the reasons why we switched to using Home IQ, it is that it is free for real estate agents, and we're partnering with agents and helping them build, nurture, and grow and nurture their database and uncover opportunities with that platform. And if you'd like to explore that and what that might look like, feel free to reach out. You can email mike@growwithjosh.com. But I would use one of those, either HomeBot or Home IQ, and get every one of your existing homeowners in your database on a seller nurture platform. Okay. Now, a quick aside from Shay, I'd like more engagement from my newsletter. Will you share your template? Yes, of course, Shay. Email Mike. Not only Shay's part of our sales organization, not only can we give you the template, we'll even set up your first one if you'd like. But certainly we can share the template. Okay. So weekly email newsletter, number 1. Property alert and or market update, number 2. Number 3, a seller nurture. Get all of your homeowners on a seller nurture. Number 4, sending out a monthly direct mail piece. A monthly direct mail piece to your existing database. Now, that should be reserved to that I would not send to your entire database and include all of your old your unconverted leads. That would only go to your sphere of influence and past clients. And recently, last week, I think, maybe it was this week, I shared what I've sent this month, January 2023, to my sphere of influence and past client database. And we'll link to that after the fact. We can add it here. We'll put it in the description above or below as well for those who are interested. And you can check that out. But that would be the 4th thing that you should be doing to prospect your database here in 2023 is a monthly direct mail piece. And if you don't want to do monthly, you got to at least do quarterly. You got to at least do quarterly. I would recommend monthly, and I can share additional best practices. In fact, we will share additional best practices, actual examples, etc., at the free class that we'll be doing next week. I think it'll be the first one will be on Tuesday. And you can sign up for the early bird list at growwithjosh.com/early. That is scrolling across the bottom. You can sign up for that early bird list there. So that's number 4. Number five is you should be inviting your database to events. You should be reaching out when proactively reaching out when, let's say, you've got a client who's looking to buy a home in their neighborhood. You should be using triggers and events like that to proactively reach out about a specific event. An event may be an actual event. It may be a coat drive, for example, which was our Monday marketing mastermind topic 2 Mondays ago. It could be Shay's on here. Shay does a pumpkin patch event for his past clients every October. So it could be reaching out to invite to that. Or the event could be, like I said, the event or the reason for reaching out could be that you've got a client who's looking to buy a home in their neighborhood. And so you're proactively reaching out, telling that story. Hey, I've got a client who's looking to buy a home in your neighborhood. Who do you know that might be thinking about selling? Or have you heard any rumors about anyone in the neighborhood who's thinking about selling? Okay. So that's just prospecting method number 1, prospecting your existing database, weekly email, property alert and or market update, seller nurture platform, direct mail monthly or at worst quarterly, and then event-based follow-up or prospecting, event-based follow-up or prospecting. Okay. Charla or Charla? I know I asked you this before and I don't remember, but how often do you send the invite for events? I would say events like that, quarterly, probably. Quarterly, I think, is a good schedule or flow for that. And but it could be more frequent than that if you're actually doing events, right? So if you're doing home buyer workshop events, you can segment out the part of your database that might be interested in that and invite them more frequently. So I would say no more than monthly, no less than quarterly. The same or similar as direct mail. Okay. Great question. Thank you. Method number 2, prospecting method number 2. And by the way, number 1 is the undefeated heavyweight champ. Like, you all need to be doing number 1. Number 2 and 3, I think you kind of choose which one you prioritize if you're going to implement them, right? So 2 and 3 are in no particular order. Number 1 is number 1, okay? Number 2, I will frame, and I think I stole this from my buddies at Street Text, but I will call it digital door knocking, okay? So running ad campaigns digitally to grow your database and to identify folks in your market who are thinking about buying or selling real estate now or in the future. So digital door knocking, what does that look like? That's Facebook ads, it's Instagram's ads, it could be ads on YouTube, it could be ads on TikTok, it could be Google pay-per-click ads. Any of those would fall under that digital door knocking umbrella. You're strategically investing money into advertising where it is a direct response ad that when someone is interested, they end up in your database, right? So you're growing the asset that we're prospecting in number 1 with these digital door knocking style of campaigns. An easy, simple way for you to get started with that is a platform I already mentioned, Street Text. And you can get a free account at growwithjosh.com/ST, growwithjosh.com/ST. Or if you're part of our existing organization, that's the cut. We set up campaigns like that for our folks. Or if you'd like to explore partnering with us on the mortgage side of things, and how we are doing that for folks on that side, and collaborating with them and partnering with them, you can schedule a time to chat with me at josh15.com, josh15.com, josh15.com. So what are those digital door knocking ads? What does that look like? What does it sound like? Well, let me give you some examples of what's working great right now. Well, actually, let me give you the 3 buckets that those ads would fall under. Number 1 would be digitally door knocking when you've got a listing. So digital door knocking an existing listing to, number 1, maximize exposure for your seller client, and number 2, uncover buyers who are interested in that type of property, number 1, and also neighbors who might be thinking about selling. Okay, so every time we get a listing, we deploy this digital door knocking campaign to generate more opportunities, to grow our database so that we have more people in that database to be predictively prospecting each and every day, each and every week, each and every month, each and every quarter. Okay, so that's bucket number 1. Digital door knocking for every single one of your listings. Bucket number 2 is seller centric or seller specific lead generation, digital door knocking. It could be offering home valuation, a free home valuation. And I know, listen, that is, that's an idea that's been around for years and years now. And in fact, my buddy and I, we sort of really, I think we made it more mainstream, quite honestly, to pat ourselves on the back years and years and years ago. And there was a time where I think it kind of was getting a little old and stale. But as the market has shifted, if you can tell that story in your digital door knocking, hey, the market is shifting and changing. If you want to stay on top of what your current home's value, click the link below and enter your address to get started. Okay. That's one simple way. Another seller-centric sort of digital door knocking campaign would be to offer a free report. Here's a report with 12 mistakes to avoid when selling your home in Central PA. Number 3 would be digitally door knocking sellers around a unique value proposition. For example, in our sales organization, we have a partnership with a cash offer platform that allows us to make some unique value propositions. So for example, would you consider selling your home here in Central PA if we could bring you an all cash offer at full market value that would also allow you to choose your move date? That's a very specific and unique value proposition, and is another way that we can predictively prospect using digital door knocking. Okay. So that's bucket number 2 of digital door knocking. Bucket number 1 is digitally door knocking every one of your existing listings, or you can even borrow listings for that too with permission. Okay. That's a great strategy as well. Number 2 is seller centric. Okay. Seller centric or homeowner centric, existing homeowner. Number 3 is what I like to call buyer leads on demand. Buyer leads on demand. So creating and distributing digital door knocking campaigns that will generate you and help you grow your database around a buyer centric offer. So for example, offering a free weekly list of all of the available new construction homes right here in Central PA. Offering a free weekly list of all the available maintenance-free one-story homes in Central PA. Offering a free weekly list of all the available homes with land here in Central PA. The key for me, in my opinion, when selecting what that offer is and deploying that digital door knocking campaign is choosing an offer where there's a high likelihood when someone responds and they end up as a new prospect in your database that they also will have a home to sell. Now, maybe you specialize or prefer to work with first-time home buyers, and you can certainly deploy digital door knocking campaigns specifically for first-time home buyers if that's what you want to focus on. For example, offering a free list of 0 down homes available in Central PA, or a free list of homes under 300,000 here in Central PA, or a free report with a free first-time home buyers guide. Okay. If that's your specialty and who you want to focus on, absolutely you can do that. For me, and what I recommend for folks that we partner with and folks in our organization, I like to utilize offers where there is a high likelihood that the people responding, the prospects who respond and end up in our database, they also have a home to sell. Okay. But you get to choose. Those are the 3 buckets under our second prospecting method, this digital door knocking. And before we get to number 3, I want to share something that I think is the critical differentiator for those that are successful with digital door knocking and those that are frustrated, and those that I see complaining in Facebook groups, etc., about, the fact that, yeah, I've generated all these leads, but, I haven't actually sold any houses from them. Okay. Because, I hear all the time, well, those leads from this place are no good. Facebook leads are no good. Instagram leads are no good. TikTok leads are no good. A lead is a lead. And what you need to remember is every lead or prospect is actually a person. And if you're going to embrace and deploy digital door knocking in 2023 and beyond, you also need to commit to what we call fully dispositioning every lead. Fully dispositioning every lead. What does that mean? Every lead that comes into, or prospect that comes into our database, we fully disposition the lead. So what does that mean? Number 1, we identify, is this person or prospect a current renter, or do they own a home? Okay, simple. Are they renting, or do they own a home currently? And if they already own a home, then we do all of the things that I mentioned in number 1. We get them set up on a seller nurture. We get them set up on a market update. We get them set up on property alerts for homes in their neighborhood. We send them direct mail at their home address. Okay. And now we're doing the extra steps to create rapport, relationship, and create a sense of reciprocity up front with them. We're positioning ourselves so that when they sell that home, because whether it's this year, next year, or 10 years from now, at some point, that home is going to be sold. And when they do, we're going to be the one that gets that opportunity. And by doing that, by going those extra steps, by taking those extra, going the extra mile there, we're differentiating ourselves with all of the other real estate agents who are digitally door knocking in our market. So if you're going to deploy that as part of your prospecting methodologies for 2023, if you're going to do digital door knocking, you've got to fully disposition every lead. You've got to go deep with every lead. We've got strategies and methodologies and so forth for that. And for those that are interested in predictive prospecting and the free workshop we're doing next week and the live boot camp we're going to be doing starting late next week, you can go and get on the early bird list. It's scrolling at the bottom, growwithjosh.com/early, growwithjosh.com/early. So we've got prospecting method number 1. your existing database, prospecting your existing database. Prospecting method number 2, digital door knocking, which also drives number 1 because it grows your database. Prospecting method number 3 is going after likely listings and using what we're calling our likely listings protocol. What does that mean? Well, at any given time in your market, and whether your market, we're talking about your neighborhood, your zip code, your city, school district, or your whole county, at any given time, there is only a small percentage of homeowners that are thinking about or ready, willing, and able to list their property. Whether that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5%. And so where people waste so much time and energy and efforts is trying to sift and sort and filter through to find the ones that are most likely. And with methodology number 3, prospecting method number 3, what we're doing is strategically investing our time, energy, and our marketing dollars with folks who are more or most likely to sell. Now, in order to do that, and in order to stand out stand out from the crowd of other real estate professionals, real estate agents, realtors in your market, in order to make this work, you do need to have a unique value proposition. If you're reaching out to likely sellers and you're making the same pitch or offer that everyone else is making, I offer great customer service. I answer my phone 24 hours a day. I'm top 5% realtor in my market. Blah, blah, blah. I've got 20 years of experience. None of that makes you unique or overly valuable to these likely sellers. You need to do 2 things. Number 1, you need to be able to offer options to the seller. And number 2, you need to actually have ways to bring real unique value. In our business, with our partners, in our sales organizations, we have 2 primary ways that we actually offer unique value. Number 1 is what we call our Home Boss online offer platform. It is the most transparent, effective, and efficient way to sell most properties. Not every property fits or qualifies, but most properties. And this is something unique and different that we do that other real estate agents and realtors in my market, they don't do or know how to do. The second way, I'll refer back to something that I mentioned when we were talking about digital door knocking, is we've got a partnership with a cash offer platform. And not the typical cash offers where, an investor will come and offer them 65 cents on the dollar or 75 cents on the dollar. We've got relationships and access to investors that will pay full market value in cash and even offer the seller the flexibility to move when they choose, whether it is what we call a late checkout or whether it is that they can do a lease back and stay in the home for 3 months, 6 months, up to 12 months. This affords us the opportunity to actually provide unique and tangible value to homeowners in our market. And it allows us to have a different conversation than all of the other real estate agents and realtors who are reaching out to these likely sellers as part of this 3rd prospecting methodology. Okay. Now that we're clear on the fact that, you've got to have a unique value prop, a UVP, who are these likely sellers? Where there's some simple buckets that you've all heard of, but that when you have and are able to demonstrate unique value, are going to be more likely to engage with you. And then we've got some cool strategies and leveraging of technology and artificial intelligence, et cetera, where we can strategically find the folks and identify them upstream before they start reaching out to a real estate agent or a real estate investor or things of that nature. So the simple and easy ones are the tried and true one: for sale by owners, expireds, canceleds, for rent by owners, pre-foreclosures, probate or pre-probate. Okay, those are the more common and obvious buckets there. And again, I know this is nothing new probably. What you have to do though is be able to demonstrate unique value and have a different conversation with these folks. In other words, if you call up or you text or you email a for sale by owner or an expired listing, and you use one of these old school scripts of, when are you going to be ready to interview the right real estate agent to help you get your home sold? When you're reaching out with that, expect less than great results. If you're reaching out to a for sale by owner and you say something along the lines of, hey, I was just checking, is the property at blank address still available? Oh yeah, it is. Hey, I've got an offer on the property I'd love to review with you. Could I stop by for a few minutes to go over it with you, or would you prefer us hop on Zoom for a few minutes so I can go over it? Different conversation. Different conversation. You're not doing some bait and switch. You're not trying to use like Jedi mind tricks or secret objection handling methodologies. You're offering real value. How do we do that? Well, again, with our partnership with the cash offer platform that we have access to, I can actually have an offer to review with them before I ever make that call. I can get an offer, a proposal for them in writing, in black and white, in PDF that I can actually review with them. Okay. Here's another one. For sale by owner, for example. Hey, so-and-so, is the property at blank address still available? Yeah, it is. Okay, great. Hey, are you willing to pay a finder's fee if we brought you a buyer? Yeah, we'll pay a finder's fee. We're offering 2.5%. We're offering 3%. Okay, great. Just one last question. Would you, if I could show you how to get the home sold for that same 2.5% to 3%, but we could fully expose the property, get it listed in the MLS, and deploy our proprietary marketing for the property, and you don't pay anything more than what what you're already agreeing to pay a buyer agent, is that something you'd be interested in? Would it be okay for me to pop by for a few minutes to go over how we do that, or would you prefer to hop on Zoom? Different conversation. Different conversation. Okay. Now, let's face it. The amount of for sale by owners, for rent by owners, expired listings, canceled, pre-foreclosures, etc., that audience is finite. And it also, in many cases, is very jaded. So we've developed what we call the likely listing protocol to identify who within a target audience, whether it is a specific neighborhood, whether it is a specific zip code, whether it is a specific city or town, to strategically identify, utilizing technology and artificial intelligence, which of those homeowners are most likely to sell in the next 6 to 12 months. So we can start to provide value, so we can build relationship and rapport, build up some sense of reciprocity, so that when they hit that tipping point of motivation, we're the person that they choose to do business with. We're the person that they choose to explore what different options there may be for them. And maybe a traditional listing is the one that makes the most sense, or maybe one of our unique alternative options makes more sense for them. So how do we do that? Well, we have to, number one, identify the total total addressable audience. So for example, and I'm just talking theoretically here, next week we'll go into the nuts and bolts of it. And if you'd like more information about that, go to growwithjosh.com/early. And by the way, we're going to be wrapped up here soon. This is longer than I expected, and I appreciate the great audience here. And if you hopped on late, just as soon as we finish the live session, you'll be able to go back and review the entire session on replay, let's say, on whatever platform you're on. Okay. So we have to find, first and foremost, the total addressable audience. So let's say, knowing that what's the word I'm looking for? A disproportionately high number of transactions, if you look at the data over the last few years, happens from, and this is all throughout the country, is happening from baby boomers and above. In other words, folks that are baby boomers downsizing or right sizing empty nesters, right? So we know that, and the data supports it. We can go in and strategically, let's choose a zip code, right? For example, we pick a zip code, a specific zip code, and I'll show you exactly how to do this next week. Just get on the early bird list at growwithjosh.com/early. So we go in, let's say with a specific zip code, we identify, show me all of the properties, the homeowners in this zip code that are not currently listed on the market, because we don't want to go and solicit someone else's business. Not currently listed, single family home, 2 stories, where they've owned the property for 15 or more years. We get this list. We append data to the list. We go and we've got services that we use that we can identify their email and their phone number. We then use artificial intelligence to identify, let's say we're starting with a list of 3,000. And we know, you can reasonably assume that the turnover rate is going to be somewhere between 3 to 5%. Okay. If you look at turnover rates in neighborhoods, they're generally 3 to 5%. On the very high end, 10%, on the low end, 1 to 2%. But let's just say 5%. We start with a list, a total addressable audience of 3,000. In other words, there are 3,000 homeowners in this zip code that are not currently listed on the market, single family home, 2-story, owned for 15 or more years. Why is that a targeted list? Why is that a list worth pursuing? Because those homeowners are getting up in age and they are probably getting sick of stairs. Okay, but we're going to take it and do it one better. We're going to use artificial intelligence and over 275 data points to identify which of those 3,000 are the very most likely to sell in the next 6 to 12 months. We're going to take that more targeted list. Let's say it's 5%. 5% of 3,000 is, what is that? That's 150. 150 homeowners that we can say with much more certainty than that total addressable audience of 3,000 are likely to sell. What are we going to do? We're going to treat them like the folks that I mentioned in prospecting method number 1, our database. We are going to set them up on a seller nurture platform. We're going to send them direct mail. We're going to strategically reach out when we've got buyers in their neighborhood. We're going to build relationship and rapport with them. And we're going to more strategically be investing our time, energy, and money into folks that are more likely to sell. That is our likely listings protocol. And that's one of the things that we're going to do a much deeper dive on next week. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this was useful. Top 3 prospecting methods for real estate agents and realtors in 2023. We've got prospecting your existing database, digital door knocking, and our likely listings protocol. We're going to do a much deeper dive on all of this at growwithjosh.com/early. By the way, if you're watching this after the fact, right? You're watching this, days, weeks, or months after the fact. If you go to that URL, we'll set it up so that you can get immediate access to the free deep dive workshop and learn how you can get access to the 3-week boot camp on predictive prospecting, which is what we're calling our process of setting up things. Here's the big picture for this. We are utilizing technology, leverage, and tools to set things up so that we're more strategically investing our time, energy, and money into folks who are more likely to transact. So we can provide better service, so we can work more efficiently and effectively, and not just be blindly chasing after business, begging and chasing after business. So I hope this was helpful. If it was, do me a huge favor. Do me a huge favor. I usually do this at the beginning, but if you found this valuable and helpful in any way, I have a few asks of you. If you're on Facebook, hit the like button and maybe even comment below, thank you, or something along those lines. If you're watching on YouTube, number one, if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, please subscribe to the channel. Number two, hit the bell to be notified of new live sessions like this one, and like our Texting Tuesday sessions, which happen every Tuesday morning at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. If you haven't checked those out, those are wonderful. That's not just me talking. I hear from folks often about positively about those. And number three, hit the like button on the actual video itself. If you're watching on LinkedIn, because we live stream this in the LinkedIn as well, hit the light bulb, the like or the light bulb button. And my last ask is that if this was valuable to you, share with others in our community. Share with other agents, whether they're in your office or they're agents in your sphere of influence, right? Your referral partners, people, agents, and realtors that you've met at events and so forth. Share this information with them if you care about them and want them to have a great, if you want them to survive and thrive 2023. Because listen, folks, things are different. Things are changing. There's a lot of agents leaving. I'm pretty excited about that. Probably many of you are as well, because it creates more room and opportunity for us who treat this like a business, who treat this as a professional, who are looking to build and grow their business, right? I shared this the other day on social media, a quote from Ayrton Senna. Ayrton Senna. He's one of the greatest Formula One racers of all time. He said, "You can't overtake 15 cars when it's sunny." In other words, if you're way back in the pack in a race, it's virtually impossible to overtake a bunch of cars when it's sunny out, but you can when it's raining. And right now in our business, it's raining, and that spells opportunity for us that are serious about getting serious in 2023. So last thing, if you haven't already done so, sign up for the early bird list for more information about predictive prospecting, the free masterclass, and the 3-week boot camp. Go to growwithjosh.com/early. Thanks for spending some time with me here today. If there's anything at all we can do for you, please don't hesitate to ask. You can comment, send me a private message, email my guy Mike at growwithjosh.com. Take care and hopefully chat soon.